Saturday the 14th of September. I'm only after realising now that yesterday was Friday the 13th, but so things didn't go exactly right. What? Oh, hang on, I'll be down to you in a second. So anyhow, yesterday, right, I made a bit of a video. Now I didn't post it because it ended up being a total mess. The situation at the minute is I have been moving the cattle on daily moves. And as I said in the last video, I was going to move the ponies afterwards. But what I found was, because I have a lot more cattle than I have ponies, the impact that I want on the little areas where I have the cattle is not that really effective with leaving the ponies on it for one day. So basically what I'm trying to say is I have been moving the cattle daily, and I've been moving the horses every other day, if not every 3 days. So what happens then is, when I'm moving the cattle every day and the ponies only every second day, there is becoming a distance between them. So right now you can see that the ponies are there beside us, but that hasn't always been the case. I moved them from where the cattle were in the last video, which was 2 or 3 fields over the back of that horizon there, behind them big trees, over down the far side. Now the idea was, I had the cattle moved and I had all my wire up, so the only wire that was holding the ponies in was the wire that was around their little cell or little paddock that I had made. So I put a collar on Luna there. Let me just put down these fences. I put a collar on Luna, which is the white lady there, and I expected that they would all follow her. But that's not what happened. They went absolutely everywhere. Now, it could have turned out to be a right disaster. It didn't, but it was a bit of a panic. Hang on, Elle, I'll be down in a second. You mind that for me now, girl, I'll be over to you. So eventually they followed me in, and I got them into this little area here. So the cattle were on this area for one day, and now they've been on the full length for the last day and a half. So it's now Saturday afternoon, evening, and I'm going to put them across here. So I'm going to put a wire right up there, and that's where they're going to be now for the next 24 hours into Sunday, and maybe Monday morning or Sunday night I'll move them on up the way. So that is the situation. So I'm going to move the ponies down into this area here now, because they have been on that area there for 2 days. And this has been 2 days for the cattle, but it's the same. I took out the fence here in the middle, so I give them the same. I gave them the day before. I'm getting tongue-tied here. I gave them 2 days ago's area as well as today's area, if you get me. So that means the ponies are still next door to them. So as I say, the cattle are going to go over here, and the ponies are going to be here in about 20 minutes. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Also, you can see that the cattle have left lots of grass behind them. Now here is another thought of mine as well. Grass is still growing now at the minute, and we're not into the dormant season. So I know I said I'm going to follow the ponies after the cattle, but I'm still not fully convinced if it's the right thing to be doing at this time of the year. I need to be growing grass that's going to keep me going until next April. So I have to keep an eye on that as well. The regrowth is coming very well still. But what I'm doing now would be more ideal in the dormant season, the proper dormant season. I don't know. Okay, let me just think. Yeah, because if I eat off too much grass now, I stunt the growth, or what will happen? So the jury's out. Okay, well, I'm going to just follow the ponies behind for now and not clean it off too tight, because I want regrowth. I definitely still have regrowth, but there will be a time when growth will actually cease completely if the cold weather comes over the Christmas time. For the last few years now, I have been grazing off everything on the first rotation and allowing or relying on the little bit of growth that comes back for the second rotation after the Christmas, and it's definitely worked out well. So I'm just confusing myself, to be honest with you, by talking. But let me walk up and look at these ponies now. I might even post this video at all. I'm after making a big whole load of nonsense. Basically what I'm trying to say is I'm not fully convinced what I'm doing now is the right thing to be doing. Because I have to think about regrowth. I'll walk up and have a look at these ponies now. They're definitely putting on condition now with these moves, anyway. As I say, this is the yearling here, he's kind of scrawny a little bit. Our foal is thriving mad in the middle. Luna, the mare, the mother of all, was very thin coming in after last year's winter. She's definitely improved, even though she's sucking the foal. She's gone back in foal, and this lady is carrying her first foal. And there we have Potchin. It's a bit of a legend. I love him. Anyhow, I'm going to go and do a few jobs. Let me have a look. Now, so the ponies are not grazing mad tight either, so I think I'm okay. And I think I'm moving these ponies off the land quick enough for this time of year for there to be a nice regrowth. So I need this place to grow up, so I'll have grass before Christmas, because that's the next time I will be here. And when I come back here at Christmas time and the ponies come in afterwards, them rushes will be et, definitely. And even the rotation after that in March is exactly when all of those rushes will be cleaned off. So look, I'm going to just do it and see how we get on. I know now is the time for growing stockpile, but then again, the cattle are after being on that. I know it's going to be washed and cleaned off by the sun. It's still not great stuff. If it never grew again, I might as well clean it off now, because it's the likes of them green spots there that the ponies eat off. There's cattle dung in them, you see, so that's why that's why the cattle didn't eat them. But the ponies will, so it's where the cattle ate, which is here, that I want to regrow. Not so much that. So yeah, okay, I think I'm alright. Anyhow, I came out with an awful lot of my thoughts there. I don't know that it makes sense at all, but we're going to move these cattle now and I'll be back. So this is what we're coming on to now. So we're going to work our way on up to the top, across this way and into a long field there, and then we are back to the start of our rotation. So I said in the last video, this is the last of the summer growing grass. Everything that we eat from now on after this last rotation will be what we have grown in the autumn time, and it has to do us then for the next, right into next April, until we get the grass growing at full power again. So at the minute we still have good growth. Temperatures are lovely and warm. The ground temperatures are ideal for growth now as well. So I'm going to graze off this, take a chance. I'm going to bring the ponies directly behind them and see how we get on. I still believe, even though I went on a bit of a confusing rant at the start of this video, I still believe that the ponies will do a good bit of a job, or won't do any harm, should I say. And hopefully they will make things look fairly right now for the growing after this rotation. For the growth after this rotation. So that all they're taking is what the cattle didn't take. Now I know there's two schools of thought, that I should be growing stockpile now and just grazing tips. But I still think that the grass growth in Ireland is still different to the way it is in colder countries. We do have that little bit of greening up over the winter time. It doesn't go completely dormant. It just slows right down to practically nothing. But still, I think when I have a 90-day rotation over the winter time, by the time I come back secondly after the first rotation of winter, before the Christmas, going in to the new year, there's definitely that little bit of picking that's of value to this system. So that's my thoughts in a nutshell, even though they sound chaotic, because I'm just not fully convinced. But we have to take chances and change things up a bit. So there's the cattle now, the ponies are there behind them. I'm going to move them on in here and let the ponies into where the cattle are, and I'll be back. Come on, you're nearly there, girls and boys. Now, so we're on the move again. We have plenty to do them for the next day, if not a day and a half. So basically, a quick, what's the word for it? A quick summary of what I'm trying to say for the last 10 minutes, and I still feel I haven't got my point across the best. What I'm doing here by following the cattle with the ponies is definitely a system that's ideal for April and all through the growing season. I'm not convinced fully that what I'm doing now is the best for coming into the winter time when you're trying to grow grass up, but definitely, look at that, Egypt. But definitely I'll be doing this, and I kind of should have been doing it earlier in the year, but I had different things to be doing with the ponies. So I definitely believe that following the cattle after the ponies during the height of the growing season is definitely the best thing to do to clean up after the cattle. And after that, now is a good time. Well, I'm going to do it now anyhow. But I wouldn't feel as... I'd be more confident doing it during the growing season. So we'll see how we get on. I'm going to close up this wire now and leave the ponies in. Now, ponies, it's your turn to come in. Let me just see what the place looks like after you've been on it for 2 days, I think it is. That's bye-bye patching. Well, that's perfect. It's about as tight as it was when the cattle were on it, and the ponies have literally just cleaned up around the cattle dung and made it kind of more even looking. Yes, there's rushes there, but we'll get them over the next couple of rotations. Now, I was also thinking to myself as well, I was mentioning about grazing tips in other parts of the world and taking it on here and relying on the bit of growth that we do have all year round. There's two ways of pumping carbon into the soil. There's the trampling. We can knock it all down and basically rely on decomposition, and that'll break down into soil. The worms will metabolize it. The bacteria, the fungus will all break it down, and we'll create soil and carbon in the soil that way. We've also got a way of adding carbon to the soil in the form of humus, that we have our grass photosynthesizing off the sunlight and pumping sugars down via carbon into the soil as well. So I think that we have great growing conditions in this country. So I'm not fully convinced that the only, well, I'm not saying I'm fully convinced, I'm just saying that it's not the only way to get carbon down into our soils is by trampling. We can also graze off the grass, give it plenty of rest, allow it to photosynthesize, and through that rest we can then pump sugars back down into the soil and use that as a store for when we do need it, or when the grass needs it, energy back into the ground. Yeah, so one is a composition and the other is a decomposition. I think the composition, the humus building, is just as good, if not better, and it probably suits our conditions here in Ireland. Yeah, there are more of my random thoughts going off in my head. Anyhow, I'm going to up this cap now and let the ponies in and see are they as mannerly as the cattle. There's a nice picture now. Right, I'll walk over. Hunting them away now because I want to get this on video. They try their best to bust through the gap before I even get it opened. There's Pedro, Pachin, Moonshine, come on. Moonshine is coming. Come on, girl, why couldn't you not see it? And the awful idiots. I'll stand here. I don't know why they make such feckin' holy shows out of this. Come on, Looney, you show it away. There we go. Midnight's through, and then Moonshine, a bit of a dose. Now, they're going to be on this for probably 2 days. There's lots of picking, as I say, that the cattle didn't eat because of the dung for the last rotation and this rotation. The ponies can eat that off and then move on up after the cattle. So I think I've waffled on enough. I've waffled on enough and my girl is calling me now. I don't know, is this anyway informative at all? I think I'm confusing myself. But they're my thoughts. That's what I'm at. It's now September and I have to start thinking about winter and second guessing myself. So I'm going to close up here, turn on the power and get away for a cup of tea. So for now, on the 14th of September, I'll say good luck and goodbye.